What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brandon and the channel is 540 Flips. Hope you're all doing good. Hope everybody is healthy and happy out there. Hope your sales, and if you've been outsourcing, hope that has been amazing. If you're new here and you don't mind and you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button, and if you don't mind, give the video a thumbs up. And also, one thing I seem to struggle with always is getting people to interact, so please leave me a comment, even if it's just to say hello. I do appreciate the comments. I try to always respond. So anyway, with that, I got a fun topic today and I want to pick all of your brains. Now, if you do YouTube, chime in. If you are a reseller and don't do YouTube, chime in. If you don't do either, if you don't do YouTube or reselling, or you just happen to catch the channel, maybe you can chime in as well, because maybe you see things or watch videos or whatever. Maybe you enjoy other types of niches or hobbies or that sort of thing. But maybe you can chime in and give your opinion on this as well. And the topic I want to talk about today is, do YouTube resellers start to affect your eBay sales or posture? Before I get started, I just wanted to real quick cut in and say the the topic of this video is not to be directed towards any one particular individual or even, just a couple people. This is in general a topic of YouTube in general throughout the space. I know not everyone does content this sort of way, and so I just wanted to make it clear, because some people may have guilty conscience, I can't talk, or think that it is directed or imposed towards them specifically, and that's not the case at all. I didn't want anyone to think that, so just wanted to make that clear. Thank you. Mark, Macari, whatever platform you're on, but we're mostly eBay because that's what mostly people talk about when they're doing YouTube content. Now, you might first ask yourself, how could Jim Bob doing a YouTube video affect my, or your, in this case, sales? How could me doing a video affect your sales? And it's an interesting thought behind it, but it is something that, as I've been hearing some more YouTubers discuss it, and then hearing some YouTubers outside of reselling in other niches on YouTube discuss kind of the direction of YouTube content, it really got me thinking. So I'm sure you've heard the theory, speak it into existence, the saying, speak it into existence. And I was watching a YouTuber that you may be familiar with. He has almost 5 million subscribers. His name is Cinnamon Toast Ken. And my kids like to watch him and PewDiePie and Mr. Beast and all those guys. And Ken, I don't know, a week or so ago, he did this video and he had a clickbaity title to it, but it caught my attention. And so I clicked on it and listened and was watching what he was discussing. And it was an interesting topic. And he was talking about YouTube content and how people started seeing that you could make money on YouTube. And the direction that the content, the titles, the thumbnails, the subject matter of the content itself, it used to be real easy back when he started, which I think he's been doing it for like 12 years or something, he said. But he was like, you used to be able to just, have a camera and a mic and maybe sit down and play a game or do react videos or whatever, and you could build a following. And he talks about how now there's like so much saturation, so much content being created that it becomes a competitive space. And so people have learned that the algorithms and I guess society or, social media in many cases is drawn to negativity. And so content started being pushed more dramatic, more negative, and that sort of thing. And that really like got me thinking, because I started YouTube like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, something like that, in sports cards. And during the boom, it was rainbows and unicorns. But then when, you know, and a lot of content, a lot of channels had blossomed during the boom. But then when it all changed, when the prices started softening, when, you know, people couldn't make the money that they were making on cards, the content matter switched. And it switched to a more negative connotation of, you know, scammers and, you know, this person is bad. This YouTuber is doing this. This grading company did this. And it was all of this drama and this negative content being spilled into the space. And, you know, when he was saying that, it was like, wow, you know, he's onto something here, because the channels that had grew and that were flourishing with their revenue were at one time positivity. And then all of a sudden, when things got tough and it was hard to retain the audience of being positive, it all switched to being negative, and then they continued to grow and they continued to flourish with the revenue and everything else. And then I looked at reselling, and let's be honest, we're in the middle of February right now. You know, in most parts of the country, and this was being talked about like in Q3 and Q4, where you had to prepare for the winter months and there wasn't going to be yard sales and it was going to be harder to source and this sort of thing, right? And then coming out of Q4, you have, you know, people just shopped for Christmas and everything else and spent a lot of money, and you would expect first quarter to be a little soft. You know, you got tax returns and that sort of thing coming in, but for the most part, you would expect the shopping experience to be less. I mean, I'm sure Walmart, Target, you know, all these stores that make tons of money during the holiday season, I'm sure their financials change a little bit during the first quarter, because people, you know, they've already shopped. You might get some gift card sales, and again, you know, you might get some people splurging if they get a tax return, but overall, people aren't like shopping like they were for, you know, even probably end of Q3 and into Q4 with holiday season and stuff. So it's to be expected. But then you have all this content now brewing. You know, eBay sales, eBay is dying, eBay this, eBay that. And it got me thinking, are eBay YouTube resellers spewing this information because they do very well monetarily off of content? In fact, some probably make more overall doing social media content, not just YouTube, but social media content, than they actually earn reselling itself. So if I'm seeing it in a category like sports cards, and then you got a guy like Ken who brings this up because he's noticed a revelation of it. I've watched videos where they're talking about they've done research on algorithms because they believe that some of these social platforms like TikTok and Instagram and all that, the algorithms are tend and designed to push negative content. So there's been a interest in investigating because of bullying and that sort of thing. So if these platforms are seeing a boost, and you know, maybe it's not intentional, but all of these social platforms and YouTube and stuff, they make money off of advertisers paying to advertise. So they're going to push whatever content is getting the most interest. And sadly, our society seems to be heavily negative focused at times. So it would make sense that maybe not even consciously, but if a YouTuber like reseller puts out a video and notices that it does very well, and you've heard people say, you know, put Karen in your title or put Karen in your thumbnail or something, and the video does well, right? So if they are seeing that, and let's say they can't get the garage sale footage, or, you know, they're not selling like crazy when like they were in Q3 and Q4, well, what better way to earn revenue then be negative. Draw the attention in and earn your views, earn your revenue through your social media platforms. So when I say, are YouTube resellers affecting your sales? You know, somebody that's not doing YouTube and they just casually watch YouTubers and, you know, they see that, I don't know, 6 channels that they have on their regular, you know, their regular cycle of watching is like, oh, my sales are down. Oh, eBay sales sucks. Oh, eBay's dying and this and that. They're going to start to believe that. And even if their sales are good for this time of year or at or better than what maybe even they should be, they may start to mentally feel like eBay isn't producing because they're hearing all of these other people, all of this other noise saying that eBay is dying. eBay, you know, eBay sales are down. eBay's platform's broken, this, that, and the other. And it's just, it's a little kind of mind trick, but it goes back to that speaking into existence. And you start hearing things more and more, and people will start believing it. Now, I'm going to tell you, on my end, there's days I think, it's kind of a slow day. But then when I look at my numbers, I don't see the negative that's out there. Like, me personally, my dollar amount on eBay is 103.6% higher at this moment in 2024 than it was during the same period of 2023. 103.6% higher dollar amount than I made on eBay during the same period of 2023. Now, I have not sourced hardly at all. I did the bins video in the last video, and then I said in that video, I believe I had, explained, I had spent $22.50 prior to that video. I spent $33 in that video at the bins, $58. Not a whole ton of volume. I've literally been working just out of my death pile. I don't have like crazy exciting stuff in my death pile. It's in my death pile for a reason. It's stuff that I didn't want to mess with. It's stuff that I just set aside. I have been selling some sports cards that I'm like refocusing my collection and stuff. That has helped my dollar amount. But like there's people that, others out there, other resellers out there, that there's ways to adjust. If and I'm new to this, like this is, I'm just over a year into this and I've figured this out. So I know seasoned veterans of reselling should be smart enough to know this. They've had first quarter for years and years and years. So they should know the happenings of what goes on. Now, yes, people tend to push the narrative that the economy is bad and it's hurting sales and things like that too. But there are still categories out there that no matter like how bad the economy is, people are still going to buy them because they're necessary items at times. And if you can buy them cheaper, then they're still going to sell, right? If you can buy them cheaper on eBay than go into the store and buy them brand new or whatever. So there's always ways to adjust. And maybe that's part of it. Maybe that some of this is just people not wanting to accept adjusting during periods. The ebbs and flows also can come in waves with different kind of categories or items of that sort of thing that, might be more popular at one time than they are in another. So I don't know. It was just an interesting topic. I've heard people, talking about how bad eBay is and how slow it's been and how the sales are down. And then I seen Ken's video and I was like, this could all just be that mental social mind game of just playing the YouTube algorithm to, while it's the slow months, while it's the Januaries and Februaries, the lack of yard sale season and stuff. Well, what else can we do to get views? We can throw out the narratives, and get the slow sale type thing going and get the conversation started and keep the views up because the views create money as well. So interesting thought. Let me know your theory. You know, I know some people might have slow sales, but I bet if you like went back and reviewed most people's stores and their sales and stuff, you know, period to period, I would expect most people are probably doing pretty good, or, you know, at the same or better than they normally would do at this time. Again, I can only speak on my numbers. My numbers are up dollar amount 103.6%. I'm very happy about that. You know, I talked about, I started in January of last year, and I had to build my store up. And so January and February were slow for me. So, you know, I better have had a better year this year than I did last year. But overall, I still think, and I'm very, very excited about, you know, the rest of this year, considering where I'm at, that my number is up and I haven't even like got into really the sourcing season yet. And I've been able to sustain. My sales have been good. Dollars is good. I'm excited. So you're not going to hear the eBay dire need or crash bandit and, you know, scammy and all of that stuff here. Things are going pretty well. I'm blessed to be able to do this. I'm going to keep pushing. Had a couple rough weeks of not feeling well, but I wrote on my motivation board, get back up on the horse, and that's what we're doing. Getting back up on the horse. Going to keep rolling along. I invite you all to ride along with me. Hit that subscribe button. Comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Give the video a thumbs up. Appreciate all of you. I'll catch you in the next one.